showing you how to solve an equation by completing the square. So in this example we've got x squared minus 6x plus 3 equals 0. So we're going to solve it by completing the square. So the first thing we're going to do is complete the square on this left hand side here. So x squared minus 6x plus 3. How do I complete the square? Well, step 1 is that we need to find half of the b value here, the negative 6. So we write x minus 3 all squared. Now the reason for that should become obvious when I do my scratch work over here and work out what x minus 3 all squared really is. It's x minus 3 times x minus 3, which is x squared minus 3x minus 3x. Now negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So this x squared, x minus 3 all squared is actually x squared minus 6x plus 9. Now here I had x squared minus 6x and I had this plus 3. So I actually need to say, if I want to, one way to think about it is I actually here have x squared minus 6x plus 3. If I write x minus 3 all squared, I actually have x squared minus 6x plus 9. So I have to make sure to keep these the same so that I haven't changed anything. I have to subtract 6 again, so that these two things, this line and this line, are the same. Another way to think about that is I could think of it as x squared minus 6x and x minus 3 all squared differ by this term, this plus 9. So I could think about putting a minus 9 with this part here to make my constant cancel out. Okay, so either way you do it, you should get x minus 3 all squared minus 6 equals 0. So now it's in completed square form. The question becomes, how do we complete the square? How do we solve the completed square form? So now it's actually fairly straightforward. First step, but let's add 6 to both sides. So we're going to get x minus 3 all squared equals 6. Now I want to take the square root of both sides. So x minus 3 is what I get if I take the square root of the left side, equals the square root of 6 on the right side. What I must remember though is anytime I take a square root, I get a positive solution and a negative solution. So x minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 6. And the last step is to say, okay, let's add 3 to both sides. And so we get x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 6. And you can type that into your calculator if you want. And if you do, you'll get 5.45. Or if you use the minus sign, you'll get 0.55.